G'day everyone, I'm Jackson and I'm the CTO of Tentacle CMI. And today I'm going to show you through the Tentacle platform. So the first thing you'll want to do is register. So click the register icon. You'll be signing up for a trial which you can subsequently convert to a subscription. You'll want to read through the terms of use, accept, submit the form. Upon submission you'll receive a verification email. After that you can verify your email address and sign in. So let me sign in with my account and then we'll get going. So this is the Discover page. It's here that you'll find the datasets and the tables that are available for you in your portal. What you see here is the Tentacle portal, which is the public portal that you can sign up for. We also do bespoke portals with their own theme and colors and logo and datasets. Now, if you want to find information on a certain topic, you can start here at the search filter. So for example, COVID, I can type and I can see the datasets available for COVID. You'll see information about how many records in this data set, so some are smaller than others, 90,000 versus 800,000, and information about when they were last updated. So our world in data was updated less than 5 seconds ago, whilst the Australian Government Department of Health data was updated 4 days ago. If you want to search by taxonomy, you can do that too. So say I'm interested in education data, I can tick that here and I can discover these well-banked data sets, which contain tens of millions of records that are much cleaner than the source and available for you for free to go and peruse and make charts of. Now let me zoom in on one of these data sets and show you what's inside. So this is the Australian Energy Market Operator. They make data available to the public via Creative Commons license, and we automatically go and grab that data. It's in CSV files, in this case, within zip files actually, and they update the data every 5 minutes or so. So you see this was last updated on our end a minute ago. There are about 5.2 million records, which is a medium-sized data set for us. And you'll see information about the ID and name, which will help you access that via the API. But we'll also dictate the URL that you access it on the front end. So there's license information here, information about the provider, which is the AEMO itself in this case, and then references to external relevant websites. There's information on the usage, statistics of views and downloads for this data set, and you'll see the latest sync information. So this one syncs every 5 minutes. There are others that sync daily, 3 hours, monthly. It varies by source, and we take care of keeping everything up to date and live. So for every data set, there's at least one table, and there are often multiple tables. And those tables reflect the underlying structure of the SQL database that this data set is stored in. So if we click one of these tables here, I'll show you a little bit more. Now, you see a view that's quite similar to the dataset view, but there's a little bit more information here. So in particular, you'll see the data schema. And this is really important. So from one UI, for any dataset, for any table, you're able to very easily discover what that data looks like, including the metadata that we add to this data to keep track of when it appeared in our database and when it was active for or superseded. You'll see an example of a return string from the API, and you'll be able to see the records themselves that are inside this particular table. So if I click the sample records here, you'll see all of the records, all of the latest records within this table. There are 50,000 pages of these records, and they're organized by latest, so latest settlement date in this case. Now there's a bit of functionality here to show or hide certain columns, or filter by text. So for example, New South Wales, I can search by, and that will filter out or filter in all of the records with New South Wales. Let me clear that. I can also filter or sort in different ways. So for example, I can add a filter for New South Wales 1. here, and then I can order by the settlement date, in this case the oldest. So I can see that the earliest date we have data for is 1998, and this at that time was every half hour, but the latest data is every 5 minutes. So this is the Discover and Records API. Now, let me zoom back out and show you a little bit more of what you can do at the dataset level. So datasets are also hooked up to charts. So if I go to the charts that are particular to this dataset, what I'll see here is a list, a searchable list of charts that either I've made or have been shared with me or are public. And you can make your own charts and make them public and share them. Here's one that I made, looks like 5 months ago. What I was trying to do here is understand the demand and generation on the power grid and see if that has any interesting structure when they get close. Now this was really interesting some months ago during the energy crisis, but we still see here there are times where the available generation is quite close to the total demand. These are really interesting times for the power grid, and easily viewable within this interface once you've made the chart. I can also search for things, so maybe there's some chart on New South Wales demand that somebody's made, or the Tentacle admin has made for you, and we make many of those charts so that you can quickly discover. And I can see hourly price, weekly demand, hourly demand for the past week. Maybe if I click on this one, I'll see something interesting. Indeed, here's hourly demand for the past week, and this particular chart also has a prediction on the end, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. So these are the charts, and if I go to dashboard, you'll see a dashboard that's been pre-created for this dataset, which embeds these charts. So we made this dataset and attached it to this. We made this dashboard and attached it to this dataset. But if we made it, you can make it. All of the dashboards and charts can be made on the front end. And what you see in this particular dashboard is on the first page, New South Wales hourly and weekly prices and demand. And in this case, we've also attached our auto prediction on the end. You'll also see here, this is a candles chart of prices, and you can see the huge changes in price for some small periods over the last month. You'll see here Queensland data, which is similar. Again, huge spikes. South Australia demand and price data. We've also got dispatch and interconnect data between states. So this is Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria flow. And our goal here was to try to recreate the kinds of dashboards that are on the AEMO site themselves, but fully within our platform. And here you see some more live statistics. So here is some 5-minute prices. So this is the price in different states over the past 24 hours. So feel free to peruse and explore the datasets after signing up for a trial mode. You'll see everything from aircraft accidents to COVID data, to financial data, geographical data, off-the-wall datasets like the National UFO Reporting Centre, or climate data. So let me take you to some of those dashboards just so you get a feel. Here's the climate data where you can see temperature statistics for Victoria, New South Wales and Queensland. And these go down to particular stations where you can have a look at the weather. With aircraft accidents, you can see 30,000. If you're interested in these, you can go to our blog post and have a look at the video that we produced. COVID Live, you can see, for example, the switch in reporting from daily to weekly, the total number of cases, 20 million, reported in Australia, and hospitalisation and ventilator numbers. And our National UFO Reporting Centre, our fun one, we scrape this data set every day for updates. You can have a bit of fun having a look at the total reports, by occurred date and have a look at the reports themselves. Now I want to show you how to make a chart. So go to the dashboard tab and then charts. Here you'll see a list of charts. In fact, all the charts available to you for every data set. You can search them as before. But what I want to show you is how to create your own new chart. So let's create something that you've seen already. So let's try COVID live hospitalizations. Let's measure the sum of hospitalizations. And let's do that over time. So I'll take the date for the last year and I'll do it by day. So let's update that query and I see I'm getting what I expect. I can see a time series, so date and sum of hospitalizations. Let's plot that as a line chart, make sure it looks like we expect. Yes, I see this familiar wave pattern and the recent decline in hospitalizations, which is great. What about a bar chart? I can try that. I can see the recent change in reporting from daily to weekly level, which is good. So let's just break this down, shall we? So let's try adding a location dimension and just seeing how this breaks down. And let's choose a style of vertical stacked and add a legend so we know what we're looking at. So what I'll need to do here is pivot by date to get everything stacked up on each other. And here I see the sum of hospitalizations by Tasmania, ACT, Victoria, Queensland and Oz. So Oz is obviously the sum of them all, so I'm going to want to filter that out. So let's add a filter that the location does not equal Oz. So now I've got my graph, my bar chart of hospitalizations by location. Let's update this. So Australian COVID hospitalizations by location. Save this. And now I'll be able to use that in the dashboard view, which we'll see. And if I go back to the charts view, I'll be able to see near the top charts that were created by me less than 10 seconds ago, and I can bring that up and have a look at what that looks like and interact with it. So what I want to show you now is how to make a dashboard. So for the dashboards pane, there's a similar view to charts where I can see dashboards that are already created, shared with me or public. For example, here's the Australian Energy Market Operator dashboard, which we saw earlier. But if I want to make my own, I can do that easily. I can create a new dashboard. Let's call this test dashboard. And let's create page 1. I can also make page 2. If I want to separate some things of interest and start adding things. So let's add the chart that we saw earlier. So I go configure and I search for an existing chart. Here's the Australian COVID hospitalizations that I just made. I can go in and edit that chart here in the dashboard view, or I can save it straight. And I can expand it, move it around, and here it is on my dashboard. I can also add pre-existing charts. So let's add another item here. It appears down here. I want it up here. I'll move it up here, make it a bit bigger. And so let's add something else. So let's add something that we saw before, New South Wales demand. In the past week. So I've added that, I'll save that, and now I've got a completely new chart in my dashboard across completely different data sets. So this being the source of AEMO, this being a source of COVID Live. So once on your dashboard, you can do a few things with these charts. So you can duplicate them. So let me duplicate this one because it's a bit lighter weight on the dashboard. And that makes a copy of the chart that I now own. You can remove, so let me remove that. You can download these as an image or a CSV. So that's useful if you want to export to put in a presentation. You can also embed these widgets in other websites. So if I click this button, I'll get a snippet of code that I can paste in my website or my blog in a static format or in the live format, which is available on public data sets, so that you get a live updated chart that's powered by Tentacle. So from here, I can save this dashboard, and I can go to the dashboards page, and I can see my test dashboard created and edited less than 10 seconds ago. Now, if I want to make that dashboard public and share it with people on the platform, I can do that very easily. Or I can just keep it to myself. In that case, only I can see it. So the last thing I want to show you is how to make a chart with a prediction. So if we go to the charts page, let's try to make something or similar to what we've seen before, get another crash course in chart creation. So let's try something on the Australian energy market. I'll go to the price and demand cube, and let's measure the average of total demand. So this is the average across all of the states within the data set. I'm going to choose a settlement date over the last 7 days hourly, and I want to see a line chart for this quantity. So you can see here, yes, I see what I expect, that 24-hour cyclic sort of pattern. And what you also see here is a little add prediction tab. Now, you'll see this for any line chart in the system that you create a time series type chart for. So if I click add prediction here, you'll see I'll choose the column. There's only one in this case, and I'll choose the model. Now, every option here will have auto. Sometimes you'll see additional models, and they're custom models that we've built for that particular series. So we'll click auto here and click update, and there you have it. I've added a prediction to this chart. In this case, it loaded instantly, but in general, you'll see initially there'll be a fit step where the model is fit, a forecast step where the model forecasts, and it will reforecast every time the data updates, and finally it succeeds and you see the prediction here. Now, the point prediction is the dashed line, and that's our best guess. And what you see around it is the prediction fan. So this is an uncertainty fan, and this represents a confidence level, 64% and 95% confidence level of where we think the future might end up. So I can save this again as my prediction. Why not? Save that, and I can see it. And again, if I go back to the dashboards tab and I decide that I want this on my test dashboard and I want this on page 2, all I have to do is go to page 2, add an item, nice and big, centrally, configure, and find the chart that I just made. My prediction right here, save that, and save the dashboard, and now it's on my chart. And again, these are downloadable to image or CSV, and you can embed them in your blog. So here's an image, for example. You see I can put that in my presentation and present that to whoever I want to present to. So I hope this demo has been useful for you. Of course, there's quite a bit more to the platform than I could show you in this quick demonstration. But if you go to our website, you can have a little bit more of a look about our features and who we are and what we're all about. And if you're interested in pursuing custom work or services around this platform, we do that as well. So just contact us. We're very open to discuss anything data and predictions. So thanks for tuning in.